Hello and welcome to Matrix IT's Cybersecurity Fundamentals course. This module is on phishing. I'm Frank Fazio and I will be your instructor. Phishing, I think everybody's heard of phishing. It's really common in the cybersecurity world and it's getting a lot of press lately. What is phishing? I think we all kind of know, but here's a definition for you. Got to have definition. Phishing is a cybercrime where victims are contacted by email, telephone, or text message by someone posing as a legitimate institution to trick them into providing sensitive data. Translation: someone sends you a link and wants you to click on it. That's all phishing is, whether it comes from text message or telephone or email. Somebody's trying to get you to either click on a link or go to a website or open up an attachment. Okay, that's why it's called phishing. They're phishing for victims. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on email phishing in this module. Anyways, I do have another module on spear phishing. That's a little bit different. And email and telephone and text. We can talk about that in another module. So phishing generally is sending out massive amounts of general emails with links in them, attachments, trying to get people to interact with them. Okay, so if I was a cyber criminal and I was trying to get into your organization, what I would do is set up an email, a very general email, and I would blast your organization with it. Hopefully somebody would click on it, and I get some passwords or I get some credit card numbers or something along those lines. So basically, they say spray and pray. I'm going to spray your organization with emails, and I'm going to pray someone inside the organization clicks on it and gives me access to what I need. Spear phishing, like I said, is a little bit more targeted. We'll discuss that in another module. Okay, so when you talk about phishing and phishes and all these emails, there's characteristics, and this is what we're going to look for when we do some examples. I've got three emails we'll look at. Characteristics of a phish, we've kind of all seen them. Unfamiliar tone or greeting. So instead of the email being addressed to you, it would basically be hey you, or what's up, or even dear employee, something that's not normal that you're used to seeing. Okay, that's one of the things we look for. Another thing we look for is grammar and spelling errors. Okay, we've got all these emails coming from different parts of the world. Spelling is an issue. Grammar is an issue, and actually, it's funny because my daughter the other day, she's in university, and she gets an email. She says, "Hey, Dad, the university still can't spell." Basically, she had gotten a phish that was sent to her, trying to get her username and password along with a number of other students. They got the same email, so they can see it. It's from the university, but the spelling and the grammar is just not there. Even sometimes in different parts of the world, they say things differently. The words may be good together, but it just doesn't give that. It kind of sounds weird. We got to look for that kind of stuff too. Inconsistencies in email address and links, and I'm going to show you how to check for that. Okay, in the examples. First thing we do when we look at an email that we get, look for the sender. And I'm not just talking about the name. We're going to look at the email address, because the email address can tell us a few things of where it's coming from. And of course, the links. I will show you how to check where a link is going. Sense of urgency, right? They want you to interact. They want you to be spur of the moment, not think about it. Just your credit card's expired. You're going to lose your Netflix account, and oh boy, if my household lost the Netflix account, right? So we're all busy during the day, and we're busy at work, and our lives are very busy. And by throwing something in there like that, some of us would react saying, "Oh, I got to take care of this now," kind of thing. So that's one of the things we look for now. You got to do it now. You got to do it now. Change your password now. You're going to lose your account, and you won't be able to get into your WebEx and all that kind of stuff. So we have to look for that. Suspicious attachments. Sometimes that's a little bit harder to decipher. Um, some of them are plain as day. I got one from a friend of mine, and the email was kind of not him. It's too formal, but it was from him, from his email address, I should say. And attachment. I found something that you might like to see, right? And something like a picture of a puppy or something like that. And this friend would never send me a picture of a puppy. So you kind of sit there and say, okay, well, the email's right, the grammar and spelling is right, but the attachment is not. Okay, so these are all pieces of the puzzle that we have to look at. And of course, unusual requests, and going back to my friend who sent me that, suspicious attachment of a puppy, that's a request that, he really wouldn't ask me to do. So, these are the little things we have to look for. We also want to do we also want to pay attention to who initiates the conversation. There are things we are looking for when we go out on the internet. Let's say we're looking to reset our password, right? Let's say we forgot our Amazon password or we forgot our eBay password, and we want to reset our password. Well, we go to the reset, we initiate a password reset. So within a few minutes, once we initiate the password reset on eBay, we do get an email allowing us to change our eBay password. We are expecting it. But if out of the blue you're getting that password reset for eBay, okay, that's not something that we initiated. So we have to be careful about that also. And of course, request for credentials, payment information, and other personal details. We'll go through a little bit of that, what they want. And yes, you can get these things, credentials. There have been some cases. I'll do a little a case study on one of the things that was done to a gentleman, and also I'll also talk about how some police officers were tricked into giving away their password, their credentials. So it does happen, and people are falling for it, and we've got to be better. And I'm going to show you some of the tricks that they use. All right. So some of the damage, I get asked a lot about, what can happen when I click on a link. There's a number of things, that link could install something, that link could bring you to a bad website. Ransomware. Everybody's heard of ransomware. And again, I have another module on ransomware that talks more specifically on it. But locking your computer, that's what ransomware does, right? I'm going to lock your computer as a cyber criminal, and I'm going to ask you to pay me Bitcoin or whatever currency I'm looking for. That's something that can happen through a phish, right? I click on a link, nothing happens. Okay. But in the background, I don't understand what's going on because everything's hidden. And, things start to become encrypted on your machine, then you can't use your machine anymore. That's one of the things that can happen. Remote access Trojan. Okay, that's just a fancy word for me saying I can control your computer, right? So you click on something that you didn't mean to click on, a link, right? Because you were, clicking on links in emails when you shouldn't have because you didn't spot some of the things. And next thing you know, you've given access to a cyber criminal to be able to turn on your webcam, to turn on the microphone on your computer, to see your desktop. And you're in a corporation and you do deal sometimes with sensitive information, and that stuff can be seen, right? We can also grab credentials. That's one of the things with phishing. If you were to click on a link and go to a website that you think is eBay or you think is Google or Gmail, and put your username and password in there, if it's a fake site, your username and password now gets, sent to the cyber criminal, and they can actually go to the real site. And I'll talk a little bit about that in one of the other modules. Credit card numbers, the same thing. That's a little bit more interesting because, you get a credit card number. If you don't want to use it, right, as a cyber criminal, you can actually go to the dark web and sell credit card numbers that you do get online. Okay. And of course, money transfers, we're going to talk about that. That's the module, I think, business email compromise. Again, it is a form of phishing where you're getting, these communications sent to us, and we have to be careful how we interact with them because we can be giving away information and we could be giving them the keys to your network, right? And I don't think your IT people or the people that take your computers are going to like, having cyber criminals running around in your network. Yeah, I know I wouldn't. So generally, with phishing, what I did was I started looking at the timeline. We've gone through COVID for the past number of years, and I wanted to take a look and I wanted to compare the amounts of email that were going out, the phishes that were going out, that were general phishes. They weren't targeting any specific person. They were just being sent out to the masses, and the cyber criminals hope that you're going to click on it. So before, the general emails that were being sent out, password resets, software upgrades, deactivation of email. So it was basically, you have to act because something is not going to work properly, right? You're not going to have the right piece of software on your machine. You need to reset your password because the password's going to expire. You won't be able to get into your network. Deactivation of email. Nobody wants that. So beforehand, before COVID, that's what we were getting. All right. And we were getting good at spotting them, right? And we were looking and say, okay, yeah, that one there is fake, that one there is fake. And also the email systems these days filter out a lot of them. So your IT department or the people that do, handle your email, they have systems put into place that actually can see those coming in. And there's a number of checks they do at a higher level, artificial intelligence and all that stuff. And they stop those, but some do get through. Okay, so that was before. That was password reset, software upgrades. Now, during COVID, things got a little interesting because people were worried and they were looking for information. So you've got, CDC, COVID-19 guidelines, right? Everybody was looking for guidelines. Things were changing so quickly that it was very, it's very interesting. Now you're getting an email that says, "Oh, this is exactly what you've been looking for. Here's the guidelines. Click here." Right? Financial help was another one, and that was kind of dirty because there were people that were out of a job and they were falling for this one. And of course, Amazon delivery. And I always kid around, the Amazon delivery. When it was before COVID, because they used to be before COVID also, that thing's been around forever. We always knew before COVID that it was fake, right? I didn't order anything on Amazon. But during COVID, everybody was ordering everything from Amazon. And so getting an email like that kind of spurred your interest, like, oh, wait a minute, I did order something because we were all home. I mean, it's funny because I know pretty much all four of my Amazon delivery guys now, right? Because I was home and I could see them come to my doorstep delivering stuff. So you put a fake email to the masses out there about Amazon delivery, and chances are good that you're going to hit a number of people waiting for Amazon delivery packages. Now, again, you've got DHL, you've got FedEx, you've got all those other delivery services too. I'm going to show a DHL one that I got, and we'll go through it. But you have to be careful because we were stressed out during COVID, and it was something that we needed to make sure that we paid attention to. After COVID, we're going to start getting into different waves of COVID. And it's your Zoom password. Like now the Zoom and the WebEx and the Teams, whichever one you use, that was a cool one. Okay. Because if you got your timing right, it was effective. So let's say you've got a meeting in 10 minutes on Zoom and you just happen to get one of these general phishes, right? And the fish says, your WebEx or your Zoom password is going to be expiring unless you change it. You're going to start freaking out because you have a meeting in 10 minutes. And if you don't pay attention, you're going to click on that link and possibly give away some passwords, all right, or install some malicious software. And new travel restrictions as things are opening up. You're going to start seeing, maybe, oh, this country now bans people from Canada or the US kind of thing, and you're going to want to find out more, and you may click on it. So we have to be very, very careful. These are general, massive amounts of email that are sent out, and the topics change based on what's happening in the world. And there's a case of, if there's some sort of volcano or some earthquake somewhere, and you do get, like the Red Cross is looking for donations in your email, be very, very careful. If you want to donate to the Red Cross, then I suggest you go to the Red Cross website and donate through there. Don't interact with an email that you're getting these masses of emails that come in, okay? And one just happens to slip through and get to you. So this is an overview. When I talk about Zoom, here's an example. I got this email, and it was something where, you can take a look at it. We'll go through it. Now, so the first thing is this Zoom says, hey there, the latest release, what's new with it, update now. You've received this because you're currently using an old version, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now let's take a look at this. The first thing that we do when we get an email is look at who it's from. Okay, now it's not just, okay, this here, right? Zoom. It says Zoom right here. But if you look at the email address, Zoom has got two O's here, zeros instead of O's. Okay. Now this here, okay, so let's say they did a really good job in masking that. All right. So that's one thing we look at. Greeting. Hey there. Zoom is not going to send you an email that says, hey there. All right. It's going to be either an account, or it's going to have your name. Maybe if you're in your business, it's going to have account number, something in there that's going to distinguish this rather than being a massive email, like, because this is what it is. It's just a fish. What else is this telling us, right? It fixes several errors, fixes. Okay, that's not right. Okay, that's an error. Now, it could be just, somebody made a typo. Okay, get it. There's another one here. You've received this email because you're currently use an old version, right? Again, there's a, now, that doesn't on its own, and of course we don't have a signature line. All right, so all these things together now should give you a clue. All right, just because somebody like it says typos or no signature line, we have to make sure we're seeing these pieces of the puzzle. All right, so now what does it ask us to do? Okay, it asks us to click here. Now the problem is I don't know where that button goes. If I click on it, what happens? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick, and some of you may know this already. If you want to know where this is going, all right, what you do is just rest your mouse on top of it. And if you rest your mouse, so don't click, you just rest your mouse over it, you will see above it the URL it's going to, or the website it's going to. Now it's either going to appear above it, or it'll be in the bottom side from your email. Okay, this is not Zoom. Okay, it's far from Zoom. So now you know that with all of these things that are wrong, plus the link is wrong, you've got a problem. This is fake. All right, we're not clicking it. We're going to delete it. We'll go tell our IT that we're getting it, or the person responsible for the computers, and they can look, maybe block something from this email address. Okay, these are the things we have to be careful for. Okay, now here's something else. I get a ton of these. I can't even begin to tell you how many of these I get. So here we go, right? The sender, and you should be able to see, it says feuniario.it. Okay, that's not DHL. Okay, that's someplace in Italy. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Okay, dear customer, that makes a little bit more sense than hey you from the last one, or hey there. You have received a new package from the shipping center. Please follow the instructions to be able to click your package. Okay, thank you. All right, it's got the logo, right? The .it here kind of bothers me a little bit, but we're going through. Let's take a look. Okay, the greeting. Okay, dear customer. It's a little bit better than the last one, like I said, but there's nothing to distinguish you from anybody else, right? This went out to everybody. Dear customer. The last one said, hey there. Okay. DHL is usually going to give you some sort of some account number or something in the email to kind of direct you. All right. And of course, there's no signature line here. Okay. Doesn't look that bad. Could look legit. Now, we're going to check what? We're going to check the button. I don't know where that button goes, right? So we're just going to put our mouse again over it, not clicking. And what do we have here? It's not DHL at all. It's hempetetra.com. So this website here is trying to get you to click on it to go to that website. They're trying to get people to go there. Okay? So we have to be very, very careful again when they have just these buttons, read or process or change password or something along those lines. Like I said, all these things together, okay, will show you that there may be a problem. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not going to be able to figure that out, that's fine. But if you get a DHL email or a Netflix email or some other email from a company, go directly to the company and log in there to check. Do not use that button. Let's say this was legit. Let's say they were using a different thing. Don't click on anything that you're not sure of. Go to the DHL website, log in there, and see if it's there. Because if this email is coming from that system, it will have the same information in the system. Okay, and I wanted to show you this one here because this one's a little tougher. Okay, this actually went to, I got it through a friend. Okay, so SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is a site that after you do something, you can send a survey out, blah blah blah, kind of thing, and anybody can use it. And it'll send an email and it will generate a survey. First thing we look at is the sender from SurveyMonkey. No reply at surveymonkey.ca. Right? That looks legit. Now, unfortunately, look how close this is to the real spelling. I'm going to just put it to the side here. No reply at survey mcnkey, so mcnicky.ca. That doesn't say SurveyMonkey. This is not the SurveyMonkey website. It's actually quite good. It's a great idea. They just changed the O to a C. And you think that it's the real website. You have to be very, very careful when you get something like this. Okay, because this looks legit, right? They want you to click there. Employee satisfaction survey. Hello everyone, we're conducting a company-wide survey and your input would be appreciated. Click this button to start the anonymous survey, blah, blah, blah. Looks legit. Everything looks legit. Here's the subject line, even an unsubscribe. Okay? This is what gives it away. This is why you have to be very careful, and this is the first thing you look for. SurveyMonkey. This is SurveyMonkey or whatever. And I actually looked up this. It's actually a real site. I didn't go to it, but I looked at the domain registration. It's actually registered. It's actually a real site. So what do we do again? We put our mouse over, and sure enough, it is bringing us to the surveymcnicky.ca website with all this other mumbo jumbo. Okay? Do not click on things that you are not aware of. And this was a dead giveaway. Here, always look. Okay, I thought this one was really, really cool. It's one of the better ones I've seen. Again, this goes out to massive amounts of people. It's not. It says hello everyone, and it's going to be something where you're going to have to look for because it's not fun if you start going to these sites that look like you go to that site. It may look like the actual SurveyMonkey site. All right, and then if any information you put in there is going to go right to the cyber criminal or whoever built the site. Okay, so how do we protect ourselves? We've gone through a couple things here. What we're going to do, So first thing we're going to do is if you find that you have an email that you're not exactly 100% sure you should be interacting with, uh, delete it. Okay, delete the communication. It's better than interacting with it and possibly giving away things. Um, if you want to check your Netflix now, I got a Netflix one the other day, and it said your credit card expired. Now, um, at the time, I was having problems with my credit card, and I can't remember why. It might have actually expired, but I still didn't click into the link. I actually went to the Netflix website to check, and I had used a different credit card on there, so it wasn't the one that expired. So it's these little things because somewhere down the line you send out millions of these Netflix things, somebody's pass or somebody's credit card has expired, and they're going to click. Okay, go to the website, make sure you have the right URL or the www. Go there and check. Do not interact with these things. Contact the sender another way. Like I said, my buddy sent me a picture or an attachment of here, check out this puppy. I thought you'd like to see it. And he's not the puppy type. I gave him a call. Said, dude, did you get hacked or something? And he did. The hacker got into his, or cyber criminal got into his account, his email account, and started contacting all of the people on his contact list. Right? So it actually went through his phone and started sending that email to everybody. And I ended up getting one because I'm in his contact list. But I contacted him another way. I didn't reply to the email. I went outside of the email. What you want to do too is you want to report the phish to IT because they need to know that they can block this stuff, and they block a ton of it. Believe me, they block a ton. I've seen numbers, and they're astounding the numbers of phishes and fake emails they block and don't get to you. But it's that one or two that get through that you have to be careful. Okay, so report the phish to IT, and of course, if you do click on something, regardless if you saw anything happen, okay, like your screen, regardless if nothing happened, you need to notify somebody. Okay, you're going to notify, and don't worry. Like, everybody makes mistakes, all right, but you need to let them know, your IT, because they'll probably advise you to disconnect from the network, and to change any passwords you might have given away in the process if you did go to a bad website. But you need to let them know immediately because they can circumvent any of the damage that goes through. You have a computer, you click on a link, you've downloaded ransomware, you're going to have a problem because that ransomware is going to propagate through the entire network, right? You got to let the IT know that you made that mistake and interacted with an email you shouldn't have, and that way they can stop it from going through the network. Okay, so these are the things you can do to protect yourself. I've given you 3 examples. Like I said, I'm going to deal with spear phishing, which is a little bit more targeting. It's more fun, actually, because once you find out a lot about a person, you can really make some nice emails. But in the meantime, that's the end of this module. Stay safe and stay frosty. All right, we'll see you next time.